Welcome to Living Vividly, the podcast where health, wellness, and curiosity collide. I'm Jackie, the founder of Vivid Health and Wellness, your guide on this journey to living your happiest and healthiest life. My co-host Daphne, the unconventional dietitian, is always ready to shake things up and bring a fresh perspective to your wellness journey. And we can't forget Dustin, our producer, who keeps everything running smoothly behind the scenes. Together, we'll chat with health and wellness experts along with everyday people who have inspiring stories and practical insights to share. If you're ready to nourish your body, move better, and discover simple ways to thrive, you're in the right place. And hey, if you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to leave us a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. So this time last year, I was closing Vivid.
Kind of in panic mode, huh?
Yeah, I was in total panic mode. It was not a good time in my life.
Tell us about how Vivid started and what it was and what your goals were.
Vivid 1.0 was Vivid Infusion and Wellness. We were a vitamin IV clinic, and I started that early 2021. We were in business for almost 3 years, and it was awesome, running great. I had a lot of referrals from doctors in town. We were on top of the world.
Which that is kind of amazing that doctors are referring for IVs. I mean, outside of the typical hospital setting.
We had a lot of OBs referring for their pregnant patients, migraine patients, athletes that were needing to be hydrated. We had all sorts of things. People with GI issues. It was great. We had built a wonderful business, super reputable, highest, we had a nurse that was an ER nurse for over a decade and very by the book, very professional. And we gained the trust of the medical community, which was awesome because that is kind of an industry that is thought of as kind of sketchy by a lot of people. Yeah. Some of them are. So it was going great. And I was on vacation last summer, a year, basically today. Well, a year, a few weeks ago. And I get a call from my office manager saying that the news had called and asked for a statement, what our statement was on the recent regulation changes. And I'll call you back, and called me.
So she didn't know anything about it.
None of us knew anything about it. So apparently a couple months prior to this moment, they were just getting wind of it. Medical board put out a statement that nurse practitioners could not mix IV fluids for these IV clinics. Only doctors or pharmacists could do that. There was a couple other little details in there, but that was the main thing. That was how we operated our business. So shut it down for the day. Let me talk to our medical director. We'll figure this out. So I'm in Michigan. I get this call, shut down operations. I spend the next couple hours on the phone with all the people that I need to talk to, and we're like, okay, I think we're closing up, but I need to be in Lafayette. So I get in my car the next morning and drive home. For the next couple weeks, I'm like, just trying to move all the parts, trying to make it make sense and keep the business
essentially
afloat.
The medical board said that you now need to have a doctor on staff or a pharmacist on staff to be able to mix your IV fluids.
Pretty much. That would be the ideal situation. So we tried to outsource that, talk to pharmacists and doctors that could maybe mix it for us. But then there's like a time limit. You can only keep it in a bag for so long before it goes bad. And there's all these logistical issues that we were facing. Plus financially, who can afford to have a doctor full time, which we did end up doing that for a few weeks. And that was really just to kind of buy us time. That was not my permanent solution. And very quickly I was realizing, I tried to find solutions to this set of problems that I had in front of me. And every time I'd find a fix, it would present another problem. So I just felt like I was chasing my tail, trying to make it work. And I think deep down in my heart and probably in the back of my mind, I knew that the writing was on the wall. Like it was time to hang it up. It just was so hard to accept that because I'd put so much blood, sweat, tears, money into this business, my reputation. Our clients were so happy. Even the doctors that were referring to us loved us. Like it was going to be a huge disappointment to shut down. Ultimately, that's what I decided to do. And a year later, best thing I've ever done.
How long after you shut it down or decided to shut it down did you realize you could have kept it open?
Oh, I knew I could have kept it open right off the bat.
Because didn't they like fix
well
the wording or something?
They did change some of the wording. There was a lot of backlash. I mean, I sat on calls with the medical board with a couple other clinics, and there were a lot of people fighting. Even my attorney, well, the medical board told me to hire a lobbyist, and that was my first big red flag.
And you were like, this is going to be so much work.
Yeah, and it's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, it's all political. It's just like a really litigious thing.
Wait, it literally was political though, huh?
Because we were stepping on the pharmacy board's toes, and the medical board really didn't care. I think they were ultimately trying to protect their doctors' licenses, whatever. It was just people playing politics and who's not making money that should be making money. And that's when I realized I didn't want to be in that game anymore. Like, we were truly helping people for a fraction of the cost that you could have gone to an ER for IV fluids. And even now, and the medical board did tell me basically nothing's going to happen unless someone reports you, which clearly there's now like all these competitors.
Yeah.
There's targets on everybody's back.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize my integrity, anyone's licenses, patient safety. There was like a number of factors that went into play with this decision. And even though I could have stayed open, I think we were number one at the time. Like, I had done a lot of analysis about like our numbers and how many clients we had and online traffic and all sorts of stuff. And we were right up there at the top, if not one or two. We were killing it. And it felt like a shame to shut it down at that moment, because what if, what did we do this for? But I'm so proud of the work that we did. And I'm so proud that I decided to close it versus we got shut down for some reason or whatever. Like I said, it was the best decision I've ever made now 12 months later. But at the time, it was full-blown panic mode. So it sucked.
So what are some of the silver line, like some of the beautiful things that you can say now that have come out of that decision? That
mostly the relationships that I made through the whole, well, maybe not that decision. Well, yeah, that too. Before the decision, the relationships that I made with clients and people like you that I met through it, and my employees who are still very close friends. We were texting yesterday. The network that I built through that business was amazing, and most of my really good friends now came from that. But also with the decision to close, I was introduced to Ed LaFleur and all these people that I probably wouldn't have met, and other competitor businesses that we've collaborated on really cool projects together. And it helped kind of push me into this. This podcast wouldn't exist if we were still open. The health revolution wouldn't have happened. And I feel like, although I really believed in what we were doing, and the vitamins are important, and your nutritional status really does affect your health. Yes. But there's so many more things that we can do besides pump you up with vitamins to help you be healthy. And I think what we're doing is more important long term.
The IV clinic was like an aspect of health. And we always talk about like small aspects or like parts of the pie, so to speak, of health and wellness. So that was a part of the pie, making sure that people are well nourished in that kind of way, because it's a very unique way to nourish someone versus whenever you can take a bird's eye view and look at health just and wellness in general, and you can see all of the different aspects. It gives you a different perspective of your ability to touch different people in their lives and their wellness journey.
Yeah, it was really a blessing that I was in that space at that time in my life, because very recent after we opened, my daughter got diagnosed with celiac. And one of the big things that we talked about was gut health and how people with poor GI function can't absorb nutrients very well. And so IV nutrition is really good for those people. And then my daughter gets diagnosed with celiac. And so I was really hyper aware of her condition, and it helped me understand deeper than had I not been in that place and surrounded by dietitians and doctors and all these people. So I felt like the universe kind of just put me where I needed to be at the time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a sliver of what we need to be healthy. And I still take the supplements that I sold at that clinic. And, I haven't had an IV since we closed, which sucks because it's been so hot and I would have loved one. But you don't need that to be healthy.
Right.
You need all these other things to be healthy. That was just kind of a
shortcut
and something with like disposable income. Not everyone can do that,
Right.
and there's plenty that people can do.
some lanyap
It's
in your
extra.
life.
Yeah. And it makes you feel good, but it's not going to make or break you. Like
Right.
one vitamin IV isn't going to make you healthy. So
Right.
How did y'all meet?
after I opened and I was talking about our SpectraCell micronutrient testing and, I was geeking out over everything. My stepmom's sister told me, you need to meet my sister-in-law, Daphne.
Oh,
So that's Stella,
Yeah.
your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
And I guess I reached out to you and you came to the clinic and we met. And
Yeah, I think we emailed a few times and I went to the clinic and we met and we were like, hey, we could be friends.
Yeah, we could be friends if we could somehow I don't know, we do similar, I'm obviously not a dietitian, but
let's
we're
change the world.
Yeah, let's just do something cool. And so for a while it was just like having your flyers in our office and I would give them to everybody who mentioned that. And we just kind of stayed in touch and
Yeah, just kind of touch base here and there because we're on the same wavelength as far as how we want to support the community.
Right.
We do it in different ways, but both have a desire to support the community through health and wellness.
yeah, especially being in South Louisiana where, I feel like people are waking up to it much more now than even a few years ago.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
In the 15 years that I've been in private practice, things have changed so drastically as far as awareness and not just awareness, but interest.
Mm-hmm.
Interest has changed so much as for people recognizing that they have a little bit more control than they ever thought they did and wanting to do something, whatever they can do, whatever they have the mental bandwidth for at the time to be able to move in the right direction. So drastic changes over the past 15 years.
It's been really cool to see. And I'm happy that it's happening now whenever I have young kids because I feel like I'm planting these seeds that were not planted whenever I was young. I was like the Easy Mac kid, come home and
for sure. I lived on frozen pizzas and frozen burritos and Hamburger Helper.
I had a single working mom, so we were just doing the best we could.
Yeah.
I was also a food stamp kid, and the food that you get is not always the most nutritionally dense, whatever. So unlearning a lot of what I grew up with and helping our community be healthy is super exciting. And now with these health revolutions in the podcast, it's kind of taken off a little bit and people are walking up to me at Whole Foods and recognizing us. And it's just fun to be doing something positive. The beautiful thing about this, I've thought about it a lot recently because we started like heavy, like medical, but living vividly is so much deeper than just that. Like it's how you walk through life in every way. And living vividly is being authentic, like just making decisions that you're comfortable with and being true to yourself and doing things that bring joy. And obviously you have responsibilities and you have to do things that suck sometimes, but maybe finding the joy in that even.
So much of it is about perspective and just how you choose to perceive something. So I maybe, depending on who you ask, would say that I used to be like kind of a negative Nancy, like everything sucks. Life sucks, it has these like glimmers of fun and excitement, but pretty gray and dull and boring. And I remember pretty vividly one day I kind of recognized like this is sort of my choosing. I am choosing to see the world in this way, and it's not really fun. I have hopefully a very long life to lead, and I have to make a choice. Do I want to see the world in gray or do I want to see the world in colors? And it was kind of it took a little while to reframe my brain, but it was ultimately like a decision in my head. Okay, now I need to start, this is my choice, and I have the option to view the world differently and start looking at the positive side, because anytime there's a negative side, there's always a positive side to it. And so one of the things, so we lived in New Orleans in 2005 whenever Hurricane Katrina came through, and we had moved there in April. The hurricane came through in August, so we hadn't been there very long.
Wow,
we didn't know a whole lot about the city. We just moved to New Orleans because, hey, it's a fun city, and we didn't have children at the time. And of course, I don't want to take away from all of the terrible things that happened during Katrina, but it was around that time, I think, whenever I realized like there are wonderful things that came out of that really terrible situation. And so it was a choice to be able to recognize and acknowledge the things that were really great that happened. And we can kind of say the same thing about the COVID situation. I mean, it was at the time felt detrimental. There was a lot of fear, there was a lot of uncertainty, and while there was a lot of lost lives, a lot of conflict, a lot of questions about the future, but there was also a lot of really great things that came out of that too. So I think a lot of it is just perspective of when something happens that is not what we want or not what we desire, to be able to recognize that and hold space for that time or that emotion that doesn't feel good. But also there's always the yin and the yang. So you have to look for, what is the thing that has come out of this that we can be grateful for, that would have never happened had the terrible thing not happened.
Whenever you've been stuck in that negative mindset for so long, it's really hard to stop doing that. But once you you break that threshold or whatever it is, it really helps you cope with everything. Like to be more emotionally resilient. I heard something the other day about like a test of your resilience is how long it takes for you to get back to baseline whenever something bad happens. And just, okay, yes, this is inconvenient. Yes, this is sad, or yes, like whatever it is. I've been through like the whole spectrum of bad things, but I still have a happy attitude and I still love life and I still have hope that things are going to be great, because they are in the same moment. Like one little thing, I never let these things destroy me anymore. And I don't know if I ever did. I'm sure I've had moments, like I lost my partner 9 years ago and I had a good couple months where, I was not functioning well, but it's like I got out of it eventually. I mean, you're allowed to feel bad things too, but you have to be able to move forward and just find the silver linings in things and realize that sometimes, despite how horrible some things are, the universe has a way of a silver lining or an eventual positive outcome. Like something wonderful is on the other side of this. You just have to let yourself get through the thing.
I think you have to be able to feel the emotion. You have to feel the emotion, and so that you can move through it. I have recently restarted, because I've done this multiple times in my life, but restarted a gratitude journal. And so in the mornings, one of the things that I'll sit down and do is just write 5 things that I'm grateful for. And it could be, so to be honest, the other morning, I only came up with 3. And I was like, I don't think I'm grateful for literally anything else right now. But it could be as simple as, I slept a full night, which I'm very grateful for whenever that happens. Or it could be, it's usually very, very simple things. The fact that I have a dog that we love dearly and she's just the sweetest thing ever. And so sometimes she'll come and sit there with me and so I'm grateful for Marigold, my dog. But it's nothing usually super profound, but finding like the little silver lining, the golden nugget.
But that's what life is about. Life doesn't have to be profound. Like you don't have to have $20 million in the bank and a yacht and like the best. It doesn't take that to be happy. It takes being grateful for the things that you do have to make a good life.
Even the normal things. Cause I noticed
my kids are here and they're healthy.
Like I noticed the other day when I was driving, like there's a bad driver and I was aggravated. But every time there's good drivers, you don't get happy.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the same idea of like, oh, I'm glad these people know what they're doing. Like, just, it's the little things that we don't always notice.
And it's also the shift in, this has helped me tremendously. And I try not to get aggravated when other people do it, because something that I've learned is, and I think it's probably going through my own shit, is someone cut you off or someone did something unkind or they were short with you or they were rude to you. They are dealing with their own stuff. Maybe their mom just died. Maybe they're speeding to the hospital because their wife's in labor. Maybe they're late and they're about to get fired. Whatever. No one's just naturally an ass without like something is,
something's going on.
Why are you miserable? Yeah. Because whatever. Like people are going through things that we have no idea from the outside. Some people react by being nice to people despite the fact that they're going through something hard. And some people just take it out on other people. And just having grace and not having expectations for everyone to be perfect all the time and for life to be perfect all the time, because life is hard. Life does suck a lot of the time. But
and not even be perfect, but be perfect towards you. That's what a lot of people like. Yeah. Like, oh, why'd they act towards me like that? Like I didn't do anything. It's not necessarily
it's
you.
It's not about you.
In fact, it's 99.9%.
Almost never.
No one's thinking about you.
Not about you. Yeah. Like they don't even, you're just a, what do you call it? An NPC?
Yeah.
Non-playable character.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Just extra in there. I know.
Yeah. You're just
because she has a teenage son.
That's it.
And so they are just, you're just a body there.
But I do think having that, I hate to say this, it's narcissistic. I know that's such an overused term, but like to have that mindset of, oh, they were rude to me and how dare they do that to me. Like you are just an extra in their life. Like the world does not revolve around you.
They're not doing it to you. They're just doing it.
Exactly. It has nothing to do with you. Don't take it personally. People are going through their own thing. We all take life so seriously. And it really helps to have like emotional non-attachment, like in a healthy way sometimes. And this is how I think of life. It's just like a big grand adventure, like a choose your own adventure.
Right.
And every single day you make decisions that will change the course tremendously. I have lived like 20 different lives. It's pretty cool. I can look back and like, wow, I forgot I lived there. I forgot I did that. And I had this like, I was so entrenched in this existence that like 0% of that life exists today, you know? And it's pretty neat that you can just kind of design life. And I think it takes a little bit of emotional resilience too.
Sometimes I have had to, and this is probably more when I was going through hormonal changes, and less frequently, although not too much less, just put myself in like a timeout. You know, like I'll even tell my family, I'm going to go put myself in timeout for like 5 minutes and I'll return a different person. And so the purpose of the timeout, literally I'll go sit in what I call my little Zen den, so my little room, which is not much bigger than a closet, and just kind of refocus, tell me everything's going to be okay. This is not tragedy. This is not end of the world. And sometimes those things that I'm saying, it's not the end of the world, are like the smallest thing, you know, like very, very small. But what feels like an overwhelming, oh my gosh, why is this happening? I can just kind of reestablish a baseline and then I can re-enter the world in a different mindset. Yeah. Because otherwise it would spiral into arguments, perhaps. I mean, it would just spiral into something that it doesn't need to be.
It's easy to let yourself, I think that's our default, like human brain thing. We just default to the negative, the worst case scenario. We're on high alert. It's like a survival instinct.
It is. It's a protective mechanism for yourself.
But if you think about whatever it is you're dealing with, is this going to matter in 5 hours? Is going to matter in 5 months? And that really helps me put into perspective, like, do I need to be this upset about this thing? Like, does it really matter that much if Sean put the dishes in the dishwasher the wrong way, or whatever the stupid little thing that I'm upset about is? And also, I think people that have gone through hard things, helps kind of keep things relative.
Yeah.
And sometimes people's lives might be too easy, and they have never had inconveniences. I think sometimes we can overparent our kids. That's a big thing too, is you don't let them feel negative feelings, and then you throw them into the world and they're not equipped to deal with anything difficult.
I think that's happening way more now than it ever used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this generation, I can think of multiple people that I know that are just like, God, you had it way too easy. And you were protected for too long.
Life experience is, regardless of age, life experience is, you said life can be hard, but experiences are good. Mm-hmm. Experiences, whether they are something that that feel really hard, but you're going to learn from it, or, wonderful things. But experience is experience. It gives you a different perspective and a different view of the world.
Yeah. And I think without those things, you're experiencing less of the human experience. I want to feel all the things. Like, obviously heartbreak sucks, and things bad happening, it sucks. It doesn't feel good, but man, it makes the good feelings feel better. Like you would never know warmth if you didn't feel cold. You have to have the opposite. So I don't know if that circles back to the vivid thing, but it was an awesome experience. I learned so much from that. I had so many difficult things that I had to go through. Like, it felt like
hard
every
decisions.
couple months. Yeah. Lots of hard decisions, lots of tears. And I am a stronger person because of it. And, no sweat off my back. Like, people still kind of expect me to be bitter about it. And like, oh my God, can you believe another IV clinic opened? And no, I don't. It's awesome for them. It's their little journey, It has nothing to do with me. And
it's just another reinvention of yourself.
Yeah. So it's fun. And this is way more fun.
Yeah.
Honestly. The thing that I loved the most about it was sitting with our clients and just talking to people. Mm-hmm. And I get to do that now, like every single day.
Yeah.
So, every single Tuesday. Before we wrap, let's tell our listeners about...
So I am starting the Real Food Challenge again. So we did it at the beginning of the year. I think this time of the year is a great time with school restarting and stuff. It's a good time to kind of reset and better understand your routine. So the Real Food Challenge is 6 weeks of eating real food. Each week there is a challenge, a specific challenge to choosing real food. So we start with vegetables and fruits, and each week we'll get a meal plan, which you can choose to use or to just kind of pull apart meals. But it is to challenge you to open up your eyes and understand where things slip in and how you can just level up to eating real food. So it starts, it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. It starts September 17th. And it will run through October 29th. And so there are lots of videos that are pre-recorded, but we do have a live Q&A call every week. And that's your opportunity to ask all the questions and get better understanding of anything that you might not fully understand, or kind of the things that you hear that you have questions about. So it's access weekly.
It's like live with you.
Live with me. To the dietitian, where you can really ask me anything kind of thing.
How do people sign up for that?
So you can go to my website. It's theunconventionaldietitians with an S, .com/RFC.
And I think the link's in your bio on your social media too.
Yes. So. Link is in the bio.
Sweet. Well, y'all go sign up.
Yeah, it's lots of fun.
I'm going to do it too.
Yeah, it's a good group of people.
Thanks for listening to Living Vividly. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. For more resources and details from today's discussion, check out the show notes. Until next time, keep living vividly.